Welcome to class 10 students. This is the continuation part of the chapter environment, its resources and their conservation. In my previous video I was discussing with you the importance of biological diversity. I have discussed 5 points with you. Let me give a recap of those 5 points and then I will discuss with you the last point. Okay. So the first point was production of food. Obviously whatever food we eat are either plant based or animal based, except all the packaged foods either they are derived from the plants or the animals, so they help in production of food. Second importance is production of drugs and medicines. Most of the plants are medicinal plants that produce drugs and medicines. Some animal products, fungus and microbes also provide us medicines. So plants and animals, they have medicinal values as well. They provide us lots of medicines and drugs, life-saving drugs actually. Maintenance of ecological balance also have discussed. The plants, the animals and the microorganisms, all living organisms, they are interrelated with the help of the food chain, food web and energy flow, and thus they maintain the ecological balance. Fourth importance was climate control, in which there is a very important aspect or impact of the biogeochemical cycles, and the fifth one is economic importance. Okay, we have done till the economic importance, plant products and animal products, all we have discussed. Now we are going to discuss the sixth importance, which is influence on art and literature. Biodiversity helps us to study natural history. Bird watching, gardening, fish keeping are due to diverse plants, flowers, animals. Biodiversity inspires musicians, painters, writers, other artists with its natural beauty. Biodiversity has intrinsic aesthetic and spiritual value. So biodiversity does not only give us food, medicines, they don't only maintain the ecological balance, they also have an aesthetic value, they have impact on art and literature. Clear? Now let's move on to the next topic, which is biodiversity hotspot. What are biodiversity hotspots? Let's first read from the book. The geographic areas that contain high level of species diversity but are endangered to extinction are known as biodiversity hotspots. So they are basically those regions, geographical regions or areas which have a very rich diversity of species. Varieties of plants and animals are found there. Much more rich, the species richness in those places are much more than the other places. But the problem is that these places are under constant threat from extinction. They may get extinct at any time. So although they have a very good aspect, that aspect is under constant threat from extinction. Okay, so this is the definition of biodiversity hotspot. 34 biodiversity hotspots worldwide. 34 biodiversity hotspots are there, but in India there are only 4. Okay, you have to remember this. 34 biodiversity hotspots are there worldwide, but in India there are only 4 biodiversity hotspots. Clear? These are the 4 biodiversity hotspots from India are the Eastern Himalayas, Indo-Burma, number 1. Eastern Himalayas. 2. Indo-Burma. 3. Western Ghats. And number 4, Sundaland. These are the 4 biodiversity hotspots found in India. Okay. Now let's discuss about each of these hotspots and where they are found, what type of species are found there. So first we are going to talk about the eastern Himalayas. This is the region that includes Bhutan, northeastern India and Nepal. So what are the places that are included here? Bhutan, Nepal, I hope you can see, yes, and northeastern India. Northeastern India. These are the 3 places which constitutes of the eastern Himalayas. This is a wide mountain range from where major rivers arise. This hotspot has a lot of globally threatened species, namely one-horned rhino, golden langur, wild dogs, sloth bear, black bear, etc. So I have already previously told you that one-horned rhino is a very important species. It is also the endemic species found in Kaziranga, Assam, which falls under northeastern India. Okay, so this is all about eastern Himalayas. Next we have the Indo-Burma region. Indo-Burma region constitutes northeastern India again, eastern Bangladesh, Myanmar, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand. These places constitute or include the Indo-Burma. Okay, this region is endemic to several animals like monkeys, langurs, gibbons and many birds. Many plant species are also endemic to this region. Ginger is native to this region. So ginger that we use commonly every day in our daily food, we use ginger, is the native endemic species of Indo-Burma region. Am I clear? Next we have the Western Ghats. What about the Western Ghats? These are a chain of hills that run along the western edge of peninsular India up to Sri Lanka. So peninsular India means the lower portion of India. It's a very bad diagram of the peninsular India, just to make you understand that the lower portion of India forms the Western Ghats. Okay, a chain of hills run along the western edge of peninsular India up to Sri Lanka. Okay, they have high rainfall close to Indian Ocean. There is moist deciduous forest as well as rainforest having a lot of species diversity. Varieties of amphibians and reptiles are endemic to this area. Okay, so you know the place and what species are endemic here. So this is all about the first 3 biodiversity hotspots found in India. The 4th one is left. I am going to do it in the next video. Okay, thank you.